My name is Matikela. Welcome to my YouTube channel. So on this video, we continue with the Mjiako saga because very questionable. Dasekaya, it's very scary if I must tell you, okay? It's very scary if I must tell you, Dasekai. Now, this is what happens. Mjiako, in my view, is a lawyer that was not supposed to exist. And is a lawyer that was fined by Cold Storage Unit. The way things are sounding and looking, it sounds as if Mjiako was found by the Cold Storage Unit, not by Ubongani Dansi. It looks like Ubongani Dansi had no means whatsoever of having access to Mjiako, because how would Dansi know Mjiako if he was sitting alone in cells, in holding, in police station holding cells? How was Ntanzi going to know Mjiako? And then you find out that Mjiako was working for crime intelligence, and these people are also part and parcel of crime intelligence. That's SEPS. That is SEPS. So they might know him. If they don't know him, well, but I believe they do know him. Then Mjiako, again, another issue, guy. Same June, he was working for the city of Johannesburg or employed by the city of Johannesburg. There is something there. I remember the other time I did a video with Unjabulo, and Unjabulo was like, no, man, Mjiako on that day, he was getting a laptop and everything, contracts and everything, city of Johannesburg. Then in the afternoon, Mdansi goes and makes a so-called confession and is represented by Mjiako. Mm-mm. And the person that worked at the city of Johannesburg at that time was who? The person that worked at the city of Johannesburg at that time was General Sibia, General Josepha Shadraka Sibia. Yebu. So I don't know what is the link there, but that's what Unjabulo dropped in one of the videos that we've done. I don't know whether it was a video or live, but something is cooking right there, okay? Now, you would find that in courtrooms, normally, strong cases don't argue, especially about paperwork. They just prove themselves, no arguments. They just say, here's the evidence, here's the evidence. And they call the right people. They put them here and be like, Danzi, you are saying you don't know Mjiako. Mjiako, Nancy mandates, Nancy don't, Yongindo is there. Now, I think the only reason that they could not call Mjiako into the witness boxes because there is no mandate. And on top of that, there is no trying to cook the mandate because izonidi signature kaNtanzi. And uNtanzi is nowhere to be found. They know it. They can't get uNtanzi to do that. Do you understand? So it looks very, very strange and very concerning. But in this courtroom of Judge Ratha now, something doesn't add up a lot because of these things. Mjiako wants, okay, Ubaloyi wants us to believe that Mjiako went to Northwest to represent uNtanzi. And Mjiako has been busy appearing in these cases in Northwest for uNtanzi. But uNtanzi has never spoken to Mjiako. uNtanzi told the court that when I get in these courtrooms, they will be done. And I'll be told by interpreter, the court has been stand down, blah, 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 blah. In all these appearances. Now, one of the challenges that the state has now is that as much as Mjiako showed up multiple times in the courtroom, let me check the dates, how many times he appeared. Do I have that? How many times Mjiako appeared in court for uNtanzi? Yeah, here is this. Firstly, 13 July 2020, that was the first appearance. Mjiako told the courtroom in Hlabane that uNtanzi could not appear before the court due to COVID-19 and isolation. And then he tells the court, you remember I told you that he says uNtanzi had further charges coming. uNtanzi is like, what are you talking about? Because I didn't hear that. I don't know anything about that. And this Mjiako Nithetanga, I don't know him. Okay, he appeared again on the 17th of August 2020, bail application arranged via video call, cell phone. And IO at the time reports COVID-19 hiccups with NDPP instructions. Untanzi doesn't know anything about this. Thirdly, August 20th, 2020, bail abandonment. Mjiyako addresses court after arriving late. Ntanzi abandons bail application, remand for forensic or ballistic report. To this day, yaxoshwa icase court. 2nd February 2021, transferred to regional court to appear for legal aid and grievances, remain in custody, transferred now. That was now the time. Ethunyelwa le Northwest for a prison for this case. January 2022, 22nd January 2021, council terminated in Ntanzi finds it. And Ntanzi finds Mjiyako wants to open a case against Mjiyako. Now, 11 November 2020, further investigations remanded for outcome of the representation to end. Mjiyako sold Ntanzi, guys. Oh, I forgot in October 27, 2020, Mjiyako, the reason arrested, what Ntanzi was arrested yesterday on Senzomiwa case, and then he said nothing else. It was Ntanzi that was busy saying, who are you? He wanted to speak, holding his hand, and that court saw Ntanzi Makavalumdom. This is how bad the entire situation becomes. Now, Mjiyako still aga illegal crisis there because Ntanzi stands that I have never hired him. And this is not a confusion. This is a crisis for Rubalo in a case. Ne? Now, these are two completely different realities. Ne? On one side, you have Bongani Ntanzi, calm, direct, and consistent. I never appointed him, Mjiyako. My family never appointed him. I want to know who sent him. And I also don't know Mjiyako. I can't even point him and say this is Mjiyako because the person that kept coming was wearing a mazaza and wearing a mask. So I can't say this is Mjiyako. And now, on the other side, we have Ubaloyi saying that Mjiyako represented Ntanzi in multiple court appearances, and it's on record. You even terminated his mandate. Two versions, one truth. That's what we are dealing with now. Was Ntokozo Mjiyako a real lawyer for Ntanzi or something else entirely? That's the question that we are having right now because of the circumstances and the situation. Now, the state escalated the entire situation and started to set traps. The state built a tight argument saying, court records show Mjiyako appearing with Ntanzi, multiple appearances, not once, not twice, and then letter yokuti the termination letter existed. And then the trap, you cannot terminate a mandate that never existed. It sounds airtight as they are saying it, right? It sounds as if it sounds as if but basically legally a lawyer doesn't just appear, right? They are instructed, they are appointed, they are recognized. But this is where it starts collapsing because the defense flips it. And this is where things get dangerous. Appearance is not proof of instruction. Paperwork is not proof of consent. Presence is not proof of representation. And now the quick question explodes. Who appointed Mjiyako? Because if Bongani Ntanzi says he didn't appoint him, his family didn't appoint him, then who did? And if nobody can answer that, that is no longer representation. If it becomes interference, then Mjiyako needs to be arrested. Mjiyako needs to be arrested. Now, this is where the case shakes. This is not a side issue. This goes straight into the heart of South African criminal law. We will come back to that. You guys would remember we have the murder case of witness D, Mr. Van der Merwe, that was shot and killed in front of his children and wife in Brakpan. And the person that has been arrested for that is Matipandile. And then when Matipandile appeared in court, Matipandile was like, I don't know this man who says is my lawyer. I gave no instructions. He was like, I'm not living here. Who's this? He was like, So you see, these things happen. We saw it happening live on national television while we were watching Matipandile appearance, first appearance, second appearance. Now, so why ingenoyenzeka kuNdasa? So it's possible that it happens. Now, let's go back to the legal impact, because this is where the case shakes. Now, firstly, right to legal representation in Section 35 of the Constitution of South Africa. An accused has the right to choose their own lawyer, consult freely, be protected from coercion. If Mjiyako was not chosen by Ntanzi, that right is compromised. And uJudge Ratha akana choice. He needs to look into this. Secondly, confession admissibility. Criminal Procedure Act, Section 217. For a confession to stand, it must be voluntarily made in sound and sober senses, free from undue influence. It fails both 1 and 2. Get right here now. Now think about this. A lawyer appears, advises the accused, allegedly suggest a guilty plea, but there is no proof that the lawyer was ever instructed. That destroys the environment of voluntariness, because now the court must ask, was this legal advice or pressure disguised as legal advice? How is Baloyi going to come back to this? How is Judge Ratha going to deal with this also? Do you understand? Now let's go to point number 3. Condemnation of the process. If Mjiyako was not properly mandated, every consultation becomes questionable. There was none, according to Ntanzi. Every piece of evidence becomes suspicious. The so-called confession in front of Mjiyako and Cronje. Every step linked to him becomes tainted, exactly. And in law, once the process is contaminated, the evidence can collapse with it. That's the challenge Baloyi has right now. Now, the state's real fear is this. You understand why the state is fighting so hard, right? This is about saving the confession. Because if the court accepts Ntanzi had a lawyer, and he had legal protection, he was not alone, then the confession looks clean. But if the court accepts Ntanzi's version, then everything changes. Suddenly, the protection disappears, the process becomes suspicious, the confession becomes vulnerable. Now, the moment everything's turned, and this is the line that changes the entire case, whether it was the 4th appearance or the 10th appearance, who appointed Mjiyako is the question. Because repetition doesn't create legality. Authority does. Who appointed Mjiyako? He must bring that forth. Why didn't Baloyi bring that in front? This is bigger than one lawyer. This is about the integrity of the system. Because if someone can appear as your lawyer, speak for you, influence your decision without your instruction, then the system has a problem, a serious one. And right now, that problem is sitting inside this trial, waiting to explode. How is Baloyi going to move away from this problem? He has an issue. It's a very serious one. What are your thoughts when it comes to this? Let's talk in the comment section. I want to hear your views. Thank you so much. Do enjoy your day. Bye-bye.